Hope is something we create. But before I tell you how I discovered this, I need to take you back to the beginning, when I was homeless on the streets of Pittsburgh. I was 17 years old, and I found myself on the street. I remember it was a day like today, cold and clear. I was waiting for the 61C bus, and I had just finished giving plasma for the fourth time. They had had trouble finding a vein, and I was worried about how else I was going to get enough money to eat. Later that day, one of the guys who helped me figure out how to survive on the street pulled me aside, and he said that I wasn't going to make it. And he told me about a welfare office downtown where they might be able to help. And so that's what I did. The next day, I went into that office and tried to apply for welfare. They gave me a mishmash of forms, and I had no idea what to do. And just as I was about to give up, one of the women at the front desk came over and sat down next to me. It was her lunch hour, but she spent that time with me, helping me sort out all the forms and helping me figure out how to fill them out. Welfare saved my life. It was a hand up in every sense. The cash assistants helped me get off the street, and I got a room in a group house. The food stamps ensured that I no longer went hungry. A few weeks later, I went back to my old high school to see my senior year English teacher, Mrs. Prunger. She was the toughest teacher in the school. If you cut her class, she might fail you. But she was also extremely kind. When she saw me, she asked, "What happened? Why wasn't I at college?" And for the first time, I told somebody about all of the pain and the violence that I had endured and why I was alone and scared. Not only did she listen, but she helped put together a plan. And she made me apply to a little college in Iowa called Grinnell. I told her I'd never been west of Ohio, but she said that Grinnell was a place where I would be able to figure out who I was and who I wanted to be. And she was right. But even after I applied, I had no idea how I was going to pay for all of this. And then Grinnell did something extraordinary. They bet on me. Gretchen Zimmerman, who is the director of the financial aid office, saw my application. And she went to the Department of Education and explained that I was homeless, I had no parents, and that they needed to find a way to get me to Grinnell. And they did. I thought that once I got to college, everything would be fine. But I couldn't run away from my past. I still didn't fit in. I didn't have parents. Every time the school shut down, I was homeless again. And I was constantly doing all of the things that parents normally do: taxes, financial aid. I had 5 jobs on campus. Along the way, I got extraordinarily lucky, and I found a mentor and a champion. George Drake was a history professor who had once been the president of Grinnell. He left to go to the Peace Corps, and then he returned to teach again. I ended up being the last student added to his Southern African history class. And that started a journey that changed my life. George encouraged me to do things that I didn't think I could do. He believed in me when no one else did. One summer, he helped me get a research grant to understand human rights in South Africa. And he liked the paper so much that he sent it to Amnesty International. And the next summer, I ended up in Cape Town, covering the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and actually meeting Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. That experience convinced me that I wanted to go to law school, that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to change the world. I didn't know how. Many years later, I was invited back to Grinnell to teach a class on the Sixth Amendment and wrongful conviction. I'd spent 6 years representing a man who had been wrongfully convicted of murder. And when he was released, Grinnell asked me to come and teach this class. So I spent a week on campus, and it was thrilling. It was great to be back to help students, to mentor them, to answer questions. And that week, I had a chance to have lunch with George. And I told him that I would never be able to repay him for all that he had done for me. And he turned to me and he laughed. He said, "Of course not. I could never repay all of the people that helped me along the way. All you can do is pay it forward and help people the way I've helped you." And he was right. And that's when I realized hope is something we create when we invest in the people around us.